Doesn't playing loud or high require more air pressure than simply sighing? What do you mean when you talk about playing with high resistance? How do you keep high resistance while relaxing the top lip? In today's video, I'm going to show you how to develop my 3 essential tips for successful high note development. Welcome to the Trumpet Prof channel, bringing you trumpet education at a much higher level. I'm Paul Mays, and this channel is for advanced players and teachers looking for a deeper understanding of the trumpet and how to take their playing to the next level. So, throw away the rulebook, keep an open mind, and remember you have the parts. Design them, assemble them the right way for you, and you can do anything on the trumpet. If you like this video, I'd really appreciate it if you click on that like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, then please consider doing so. Okay, let's get into the video. So let's start with the sigh, because I can't emphasize enough how important this is. It really is the foundation on which everything is built. So let's just start by taking in a full breath and sighing out the air. So to me, the sigh is 2 things, and the way that you think about the sigh is going to be really important, because not only is it a relaxation of the muscles, it's also a push of air from the chest. And it's really important that you focus on the pushing element of the sigh. So let's try another sigh, but this time we're going to sigh slower. Now, it's much easier to simply relax the holding muscles when you do it slower. So make sure that you maintain that push of air. It's the push within the relaxation. And finally, we're going to sigh in waves. So lots of kind of little pushes of air as we exhale. So we can sigh at different speeds. Playing the trumpet simply adds resistance to the sigh. You could say it makes the sigh feel heavier. Now, some might argue, well, then it's no longer a sigh. But it's the interpretation of the sigh that is then important, because if it's not just a relaxation, if it's a push, then you can have different resistances to push against. So remember, it's the act of sighing that is important. So when you add resistance, you'll feel your air pressure increase. But whatever the level of resistance, whether it's high or whether it's low, always try to push your air against it. Always feel that heavy air against your resistance. Let's introduce resistance to the sigh and work with that sensation. You'll need a straw for this, so it doesn't matter what sort of straw it is, whether it's a sip straw or a milkshake straw. I'm just going to use a milkshake straw because they're obviously more common for now. So just put the straw between your teeth and sigh out, but don't sigh through the straw. Just sigh out normally with the straw in your mouth. Now this time, sigh out and gradually bring your lips around the straw so you seal off the air. So we're just adding a little bit of resistance, but always focus on the sigh. And now we're going to do that a little bit quicker. So the next stage is to add a little bit more resistance to the sigh. You can just pinch the end of the straw or put your finger over it, just so the sigh feels a little bit heavier. And do exactly the same exercise again. And it's more likely that your throat is going to want to react to the added resistance. And that's what we really want to try to override. So really focus on the push and the sigh. Now, pushing the sigh like that on the instrument can do 2 things. Either this, this. It will be one or the other. Try it on your trumpet. It doesn't matter whether you're going up and down or whether you're getting louder and quieter. Just focus on the sigh with changing pressure. Remember, don't open the throat unnaturally, like that. Just keep it relaxed and don't let it react. Lock on to the sensation. My teaching is very much about sensations. We use the props, we use the straws, we use lots of things to create sensations because it's easier for you then to transfer that on to the instrument. My second tip was top lip relaxed. So from now on, we'll just refer to that as TLR. And one of the comments I had was, for me, it seems impossible to set the mouthpiece on relaxed lips and play beautifully. Now, the most important thing about TLR is not that you set the mouthpiece on a relaxed top lip, but you play with a relaxed top lip. Relax your top lip before you place the mouthpiece or after you place the mouthpiece. It doesn't matter. Probably for you at the moment, it would be better to experiment with it after you've placed it, because then you can keep your current embouchure setting. We'll work at keeping your top lip relaxed in just a moment, but a very general tip that has been really useful for students is try to let your mouthpiece hold your lips in place as much as possible. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's say, for instance, we're going to form an embouchure that involved stretching your lips. Now, some very prominent players play this way. I'm not saying it's right for you, and it's not the way I play, but it's a good example of using the mouthpiece to keep the lips in place. So if I stretch my lips like this, you can try this, you can really feel the muscles working. Now, if I place the mouthpiece firmly on my lip, like this, now I can relax my face, but I can still feel the lip is stretched inside the mouthpiece. And it's not until I take the mouthpiece away that the lip moves back to its relaxing position. And because now they're more relaxed, I can really let go of what I'm doing and allow the trumpet to start to take more control over my lips. So here's a really, really good little exercise. The chances are you won't be able to do this straight away. So we're going to start on a low C. No need to articulate it. Just hold a long low C and trill to a B. Now to a B flat. Now to an A. Then we continue that down to A flat, G, and F sharp. Let me know how far you're able to descend, because this is all about progress and it's about relaxation, all of the things that we've discussed. That exercise is very much a low register exercise because you really need to get used to letting go of the trumpet in that register, because as we get higher and you're using higher air pressure, then it does get more difficult to keep that top lip relaxed. So let's tackle that now. So for this exercise, you'll need your straw again. The milkshake straw is fine, but you are going to need to increase the resistance a little bit. So just pinch the end or put your finger halfway over the end of the straw. And it's a good idea to do this in front of a mirror so you can be really aware of what's going on in your face. So all we're going to do is simply sigh through the straw very slowly at first, and then really accelerate the speed of the sigh to very, very fast. So you can really feel the increase in air pressure. What happened to your top lip? That's what we're interested in. And I'm guessing that it probably contracted. Probably went something like this. And of course, that's what we're trying to avoid happening. That's what we're trying to deactivate and override. So try it again, and this time, try to stop that top lip from tensing. Try to stop it from contracting. Won't be easy. It will take you a while to work it out, but then you will have a positive rebalance. When you get that rebalance, then you'll be able to transfer that onto the instrument and begin to experiment with it while you're playing. I'll show you what happens when I do it, but I don't want you to copy me. You'll see how I rebalance. It might be slightly different for you, but don't copy what I'm doing. Just use it as a guide. So here we go. The main thing that you'll notice there was that my cheeks went puffy. So, is that a bad thing? No, it's not a bad thing. Do most teachers tell you you shouldn't puff your cheeks out? Yes, they do. Do most players struggle to play efficiently in the high register? Yes, they do. Of course, I don't have the mouthpiece on my face when I'm doing that, and the mouthpiece holds the lips together, and there are other things that come into play. But the main thing is that it really gives you an idea of kind of letting go. It gives you an idea of how to rebalance, and then you can transfer those sensations onto the trumpet. The puffy cheeks indicate that your face is relaxed. It's not totally relaxed. There is activity going on. But if you look at some of the guys that play high notes really, really well and really efficiently, the famous players like Arturo Sandoval, Wayne Bergeron, Maurice Andre, Maynard Ferguson, so many of these players, if you watch them when they're playing, you can see that there's just a little bit of puffiness in the cheeks. You can see the air pockets. And when they're actually playing around in the high register, there's very rarely any movement. Those exercises will really help you, but you have to practice them regularly. There are no quick fixes. It will take time to deactivate the top lip, to rebalance the muscular activity, just as it will take time for you to build up your strength with the straw and coin exercise that we did. On the one hand, we're building power with that, and on the other hand, we're trying to relax so we can optimize that power and then transfer all of that onto the instrument. It's a long-term process, but if you stick with it, it really will work. My third tip was embrace air pressure. So today I do want to talk about air pressure, but also probably a little bit more about resistance, because it's the resistance that creates the air pressure. And I do want to explain that a little bit more. So if you take your straw, your milkshake straw, and we're going to sigh through the straw fairly gently, and as you're doing it, just gradually pinch the end of the straw and then release it. Pinch and release. Now, where can you feel the air building up there? Can you feel the air pressure? You're not blowing with any extra effort. That's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm just simply asking you to change the level of resistance. There being the resistance, you change the level, you squeeze the end of the straw, you can feel that the air kind of backs up and it builds in pressure. That's the sensation that you need to create when you're playing. Let's create some resistance then that doesn't involve the top lip, And we're going to do that just for now at the back of the mouth. So between the roof of the mouth and the tongue, known as the high tongue technique. But we're only going to do that for now because everyone uses the high tongue in some form or another. Some use it more than others. I don't use it as my main way of creating resistance, but I certainly used to, and I do teach some students that way if they can't do it other ways. It's not just a general technique by any means. It's not just as easy as using an R and an E and using the vowel sounds. The tongue can get in so many different positions, and the jaw can get in so many different positions. So there are so many variables around that. And then we take individual players. Everyone has a different size tongue and a different shaped jaw. So it can't be that easy. It's a very, very complex system. But if you get it right, it can be very, very effective. So today we're just simply using this as a means to create some resistance so you can get used to sighing down your trumpet, keeping your top lip relaxed against some resistance. So let's set a very basic tongue position. And to do that, we're going to use pitch. We're going to try to whisper a low C to begin with, like this. And then I want you to slide that up an octave. If you can't quite get the exact pitch, it doesn't matter for now, as long as you're kind of in that ballpark. And then finally, we're going to try to slide that up to a G. And there, you can feel that the tongue has created some resistance and there's a little bit of air pressure building up. If you didn't get on well with that way, there is another way. And in fact, you can try both of them because they do set the tongue slightly differently, but both give you a very good basic setting. So the other way is just to tap your cheek until you hear a pitch. Try and start at C if you can. Like that. And then we're just going to go up and up and up until we get to about a G. And that sets your tongue in a good position. Let's put that into practice and show you what we're trying to do with that on the instrument. So use your desired technique of getting up to the G. I'll demonstrate it on both. Keep your tongue at that position. This is the hardest thing because you're going to have to set your embouchure around the tongue position. This is really, really important. You don't try and do it the other way around. Set the tongue position first, then set the embouchure around that, and then simply deliver the air with the sigh. So I'll be going like this first. Keep the tongue set in that position. Now, I played a random note there because it might come out low, it might come out high. It doesn't matter where it comes out. The pitch of the note is not important. The setup process is important, and the fact that you feel yourself playing with a higher level of resistance. So to try that with the other technique, we just start tapping the cheek. So I've got my tongue in a different position now. Hold that position, set your embouchure around it, and then just sigh over that. Again, I played a random note because I don't want you to copy me. I just want to let the trumpet do what it wants to do. You may feel like you need to slightly adapt your jaw position or your lip position. That's okay, you're going to have to go with that. But get as close to your normal embouchure as you can. Just don't change your tongue position. Remember, the pitch of the note that you get isn't important. It doesn't have to come out high. If you can bring all of those together, you should start to see some improvement on the exercises that we did in the first video 3 essential tips. So make sure that you're working at them, make sure that you try them out. You really should start to see some improvement. So to finish with, I'd like to introduce my son. He's 11 years old and he just started playing the trumpet. He's been playing for about 6 weeks now. So I've been taking some videos of his progress. I thought they'd be a good way of showing you what happens when a beginner uses the 3 essential tips and the techniques from them. He only knows to sigh. He only knows to play with resistance and create air pressure. And he knows to try to use top lip relax. But of course, that's difficult because it's a natural reaction from the body to contract the lip. But when he does it, he sounds much better than when he doesn't do it. So using the exercises from the first essential tips video, this is what happens when he starts to sigh faster. Good. And when he really kicks it, this happens. Oh yeah, good. Good, well done. This is what happens when he pulls the mouthpiece out while he's playing. Here he is finding some resistance, playing around with it a bit and creating a little bit more air pressure. Excellent. And finally, this is him when he goes in on a high note, creates the air pressure and tries to maintain that while he descends. Great. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, then please click the like button. Let me know how you get on with the techniques. Leave me a comment and I'll see you next time.